This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
We're moving in a new direction, moving forward, and moving beyond smoking. We are Altria, and our companies are leading the way in moving adult smokers away from cigarettes by taking action to transition millions toward potentially less harmful choices. As we move from being known as a tobacco company to being recognized as a tobacco harm reduction company, Altria is moving beyond smoking. Find out how at altria.com.
So glad that we did about our teenage diaries.
We did.
And I am so excited to look around this table and see that we have all brought our little notebooks. So cute.
I'm going to go ahead and say this right now because I know that it's kind of my fault that we're doing this right now.
Yes.
Because I brought this up last week.
Glad you claimed it.
And although it was Christina who suggested that we find passages, I spent my morning coffee time reading this diary.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm sitting here with you now and I still don't know what I'm going to read because it is either devastatingly sad. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, clearly I was going through it, okay? Emotionally.
Yeah.
Or I can't read it because it's too specific. Even if I were to change the names, there are people who listen to this podcast who know the people who I talk about in this diary. And it would get real messy real fast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was sitting there trying to be like, okay, can I change the names? Can I change like some significant details? And I'm like, there is nothing in here that I could change enough for people to not know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do my best.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I'm coming in hot. I'm naming names.
Oh,
I got
God.
it all. Yeah,
mine during this time, I vacillated back and forth. I kept a journal like pretty much as long as I can remember. And so sometimes it was just like a daily journal. And then I guess during this time period, I thought that I could best deal with my feelings by poetry.
It? Oh, poetry.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
much poetry.
I didn't even get out my poetry notebook. I was like, I'm not going to go down that path. You know, what's embarrassing enough is that in my journal, I have screenplay ideas.
Oh.
No.
I need to hear those. I'm not
mess.
gonna lie. It's your version of poetry.
It's all bad. It's so bad.
It's your version of poetry.
Why don't I start us off? The passage that I found, because I could also read a poem, but here's one I thought that would
I feel like we need soft music playing underneath this.
Really relatable. Okay, so I said, in a relationship, this is what I need to be happy.
I'm sorry, how old are you? I need ages.
I am 21 at the time. 21.
Okay, that sounds
21-year-old Christina in a relationship. This is what I need to be happy. Number 1, open, easy communication. I need to know where you're at. Need to vocalize how I am.
I mean, kind of true, actually.
It's true.
Of everything, this needed to stay on the list for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, I need to hear I am loved.
Oh,
Okay.
that's sweet.
Number 3, poetry /songs /etc. I want to inspire you creatively.
Oh, you wanted
Bitches
to be
like what
amused.
Muse.
You wanted to be amused
Yes.
even back then.
She had fantasies of Muse life.
Yes.
I totally did. Show me you wrote something for me. It means a lot.
And then play it for me on an acoustic guitar at a party.
Oh, no. I think you and Chris are the same person.
Oh my
I'm not going to
God,
lie.
it's so embarrassing. Number 4, a partner. I don't want to give 200% to get nothing in return. That's a good one. I should have kept that one higher up on the list.
Yeah.
Above
poetry.
Yeah.
And then I added something on here. This is what really gets me. there's an addendum. Trust me, I notice underlined.
Okay.
You haven't eaten me out in months.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
I need a good sex life, not routine. It hurts me deeply when I feel like you're not interested.
Oh,
this feels personal.
You were talking about
you were
someone
talking to someone
specific.
Number 5, ambition and creativity.
Oh God.
Oh damn.
Honey.
6, support, and 7, friendship.
I have to tell you, and I'm being a little shady, but like knowing who you ended up marrying, I'm like, you didn't listen to your own advice.
No,
honey.
I did not. I wrote this out and then was like, on to the next poem, I guess.
Put it away.
Shut that.
Don't
Move
take
on.
that advice.
Oh man, see, this is the thing when people are like, "What advice would you give 21-year-old you?" Oh, honey, I gave myself that advice. I just didn't
take
listen
it.
to it.
Exactly.
100%.
Oh, I knew.
I will say that again. I'm not going to read the passages specifically, but reading my relationship was like, I went back on everything I told myself I wanted or needed from a partner. Like, it's just excuses, blaming myself, self-loathing.
Amen.
Horrible.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Because I'm like, all that stuff is stuff that, I'm still like looking for. Also,
Yeah, and I think you finally have listened to yourself
finally.
at what 30, 38?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what really threw you off was that Muse shit.
Yes,
Like,
Oh,
that's
I
the thing that
know.
threw you off.
That
was
thing I could
important.
take off
Because it was
Yeah.
too high up on the list.
That's right.
And that's what you were really looking for.
Yeah.
And it was just antithetical to everything else that
That's
was
right.
on the list.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
Yeah.
no, we're taking that off,
Oh,
dude. This
no.
is just
moody artist
Yeah.
types. Oh, God.
all right. Who's up
Okay.
next, Cassie? I see a note
Okay,
on there.
I have a few things to share. I don't know if you guys have additional things to share, or I should just be out with all of it.
Go for
broke.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I found during my journey into my box of memories was these. And I wanted to share them with you because and I will post them, a couple of them.
Okay.
But these are photos of me because I apparently thought I was going to be a model. These are pictures of me, 2 of them at Dawes Arboretum, posing quite
Suggestively?
with a tree at the tender age of probably like 8 or 9.
Okay, but we all did this.
Okay, but
We 100% all did this.
God,
like, sexy.
yes.
You thought that you
Yes.
were Brooke Shields for sure. Yeah.
dude.
And this one, everyone did the hand on the head.
Yeah.
Everybody did that. Like the hand on the back of the head. Yes.
so here
you are so adorable.
is everything that Keegan has wanted. And that is embarrassing photos
Oh, yes.
of me thinking that I'm a model.
You have.
with
Is that a perm, or
perm.
is that your hair?
Girl, that is a perm.
Oh, you got good triangle hair.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
We've
Solid.
you guys have seen my triangles.
Oh,
so.
that's amazing. Oh, I love it. I love to see it.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, the next thing I would like to share with you is
Your
my
diary is fantastic. I
and
gotta
look how
say.
pristine it looks, right? It
Yeah,
looks
mine
really
is falling
well.
apart.
So I'm going to open it this
Same.
way because apparently the first thing you need to see is that I have hair in here.
Why?
Don't know
Whose hair?
Don't know. But there is also a blood stain.
hair
No.
is that?
And
oh my
that
God.
and that hair is wrapped in a used
Is that like a straw?
straw
wrapper?
paper.
Why is there blood?
Don't know.
Is this a tainted love? Are we already at the tainted love part?
I legit have no clue what the fuck is going on here. What I also would like to show you is that I share no feelings. My diary,
You ripped shit out.
it's gone
Oh.
because I trust no
Do you
one.
regret that?
No.
Oh, really?
I apparently don't. And honestly, I'm at the, I do, there's parts of me that do, but then there's parts of me that like, there must have been a reason I ripped it out. I wrote it down. It was cathartic at the time.
And then got rid of
I'm
it.
done with it.
Wow.
And that is a very, very telling thing about me.
Yeah.
I do
Once
like,
I'm done with it, I'm moved on.
I do like this piece of paper that says private _ 3
Yes.
times. So what is that?
So I will get there.
You're like, slow your roll.
but before I get there, I want to share with you a little poem, very little poem that I wrote.
Oh, God.
And this is about my breakup with my high school love of my life,
Oh, no.
Richie.
Okay.
Richie.
And you
Name
should
and
know,
names.
that I grew up in the time of zines. Poetry was a thing. And this is called Broken.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that tracks.
Broken, underline. Dreams, hearts, fantasies, promises, love, lust, trust.
Oh, it rhymes.
Ooh,
It
internal rhymes. Oh.
And that's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Broken. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I was devastated.
Cassie. Oh.
And it is literally just a torn out piece of me.
Just a list of words.
Can you see 16-year-old
Yes.
me here?
Oh.
Yes, of course.
This is
The embarrassing shit that I wrote down. I mean,
devastated is what I was.
I did not pull out my poetry.
What
And-
was that one quote though that you texted us? I was laughing so hard.
I will share it after Cassie goes.
It was so
like 18.
yeah.
So this is the only journal entry that I have existing on this planet because you saw I like
You
to
ripped
move
it
on.
out.
So
Yeah,
I like to
y'all
move on.
are hearing it here first. And by the way, we are sharing it on a podcast,
Yes.
and it does say private.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
we're gonna have to get pictures of that.
So I want to talk about how it's four-folded, not very private, just a four-folded piece of paper
But you
that
wrote on the
says
front, so
private underline, squiggle underline,
that'll
so you know I
keep 'em
meant
out.
it.
Yeah.
Do you know the first thing that happens when I see something like that?
Open
I
it.
Open
Oh,
it.
I couldn't open it faster.
Yep. I want to also speak to the fact that I love stickers.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
smiley
there
I
you
face.
have one smiley face sticker.
Oh, and you wrote in cursive, so you know
yes.
this is for real.
I wrote journal and then squiggly line / 9/25.
Oh, but no year. You got to
No
include
year.
the year.
This would have been, I would have been sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
Because of the story.
Okay. Okay.
Let me begin. Today has definitely been a fun day. I was with Amy, Chris, Daniel, Lori, and Jerry all day, basically.
Basically.
First of all, yesterday when I was supposed to go to the football game, I was only there for part of the game.
Ooh.
Where were you?
In parentheses, we won 30-8 Grandview.
Wow.
Great.
Good news.
The other part was spent with Chris Hall, Lori, and Daniel riding around in his Jeep, and we were at his house for a while. In parentheses, smoking.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
We went back to the game and got Amy, then went back to Chris's house, in parentheses, own apartment.
Oh my God. He has his own apartment. You're so adult.
I'm a sophomore.
Oh.
Amy and Daniel went upstairs and did it.
Oh my God.
What? Oh my God. Scandalous.
Then Gary came over. I do not know who Gary is, by the way. Then Gary came over. In parentheses, he was high as a kite.
Oh my God.
Anyway, today I went mud running with Chris, Jerry, Lori, Amy, and Daniel. It was fun. Underline, squiggle, underline, exclamation point.
Wow. Oh my God. That's incredible. I don't know how I'm going to follow that. I will say that because we have talked about it on this podcast before about how I can't believe that 2000s fashion is coming back. Like, it's cursed. Don't we remember? Why is this happening? Gen Z is making a mistake, and I feel like I can't stop them from walking over the cliff's edge.
Yeah.
I found some of my senior photos, and I was wearing a dress and a t-shirt and jeans.
And are those slipper shoes?
They are slipper shoes. They're like green ballet slipper shoes that have a bow on them.
Yes.
Also, if we were to zoom in on this, I have a nose ring It was a good time. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
All right. So the passage that you were referring to that I texted you guys last week after we had this conversation.
So meaningful. So beautiful.
So deep was, I still wanted him, even though I knew it was stupid. And I was like, that's the title of my memoir.
Yep.
From this time.
Might as well be like, there are poems in here. I was like, who was this about? And then I was like, oh my gosh.
Gotta
so
be honest,
crazy.
probably wrote a few of those things in this little book, and who knows?
Yeah, they're gone.
No one will ever know.
No
but everyone will
God.
know that Amy and Daniel did it.
They will know that.
Basically.
Oh, God.
Basically.
Basically. Okay, hold on. Let me find. I sent you guys a link. I sent you guys a picture.
Look, I didn't even change names. People,
I
I just
know.
came in
I mean, 'cause
hot. Nobody, no last names.
I do have this passage here. I was such a sad girl. My diary is just soaked with Pisces tears. You know what I mean? He tells me he loves me, and I know he means it. But what if I love him more? What then? What if he finds someone prettier with more talent who he can talk with just as easily?
Oh,
that is a Pisces tear.
My
It really
God.
is.
The
It really
biggest.
is. But I made a list of, I was like, I'm so busy. During this period of time, I
This is
went off of literally no sleep ever. Like I was just like going. And it was like kind of a humble brag.
Totally.
But it's great. So 7:15 a.m. wake up. 8:30 a.m. get to work. 4 p.m. leave work. 4 to 6 work on screenplay.
how old? Wait, how old are we?
We are, hold on, what's the date? The date is July 22nd, 2008. So I was 18.
Oh,
Work on screenplay, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
6 to 7, eat dinner. 7 to 8, makeup, change, work on tarot. Why did I write that? Like, I was like, that needs to go in here. That, like, there's proof that I was working on my skills.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
8 to, and I'll name names here. It's fine. 8 to 10:15 p.m. Spend time with Kyle. This is the guy I was seeing at the time. 10:15 to 12:15 a.m. Rap show with Thomas and Kendra.
Rap show.
In Springfield, Missouri.
Rap
and
show.
by the way, it's not W-A-R or W-R-A-P.
No. It is a rap
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
hip hop show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Listen, I had a
Awesome.
lot of
You have
white rappers
skills.
as friends
Okay.
at this time.
Keegan and Eminem over here.
White
Wow.
rappers in the Midwest.
Wow.
Big
12
in 2008.
Yes, very big. 12:15 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. Go to Luke's. 3:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. Breakfast at Carriage House.
Who's Luke?
Luke is our friend Luke. He lived like way out in the boonies, and he had
Did he have his own place?
No, it wasn't his own place. He had nothing on whoever that guy was.
Chris with his own apartment.
With his own apartment.
Yeah,
But he
basically.
did have a cool single dad. He did have a cool single dad who let him have the basement.
Yeah.
And so you could go over at like any time of
Yes.
night. So all the parties were like at
yeah.
Luke's because he had like a basement that had like a pool table
Yes.
and like gaming system.
Every friend group has that.
Has a
that
Luke.
guy.
Kelly.
Yeah, has that guy
Yeah.
for sure.
Mine was a girl, and her name was Kelly.
Yes. There's always the one friend with the basement. So then 3:30 a.m. to 5 a.m., I guess we got hungry. So we went to get breakfast at Carriage House. 5 a.m. to 5:15 a.m., I went to pick up Corey, my friend Corey. 5:15 a.m. to 3:35 a.m., I get home and go to sleep. And then I got up the next day and went to work at like 7.
Oh wow, my gosh, wow.
So what this is, as a diagnosis, is I feel this so hard, which is that you've said before you weren't really popular in school. So this is proof now to the growing adult version of you that you are super popular and you have so much going on right now. Right? Like, I don't know if you guys know, like, look at what I can barely sleep. My schedule is so deep.
So, like, busy. I have so many friends.
Yeah.
Basically.
I didn't even go to that game. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I love that you put who won and the scores, though.
Yeah.
You're like, important information.
No. See, that's the stuff you need to make sure you have noted in case dad asks or mom asks. They're like, who won the game?
Wow.
Come on, you guys weren't bad kids.
Amateurs.
Get in here.
Amateur hour.
I got some lessons for you guys.
That was a journey. And I'll tell you, I really did enjoy reading through because I had to look through a few of them to find out like which ones were in which time period or whatever. Really got to go in deep on some of these
I mean, look, I still want to find I think the real juicy stuff is in my school notes. And I have them in a bag somewhere of like notes written to each other in school. And they're at my parents' house, but I cannot for the life of me find them. If I ever find them, we will do a special Patreon episode where we read
unboxing.
Them.
I have a note. If you want to know,
let's get a sneaky peek. Yeah,
let's get a peeky sneak.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to read a note to you.
Okay.
From apparently.
I love the bubble writing. So like that was
it's bubble writing, and I want you to note that who it's written to.
Joe.
Okay, that was my nickname.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Like from Little Women?
Little Joe from Bonanza, which is a nickname that my best friend Sarah's dad gave me, was Little Joe. And that kind of stuck. So I got called Joe kind of through like, junior high, mid-high school kind of thing.
Nicknames in school is also the most fun.
So if you see, it's to Joe, and it has a little flower on the front.
With an arrow.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And then when you open it, it says WBS. Right back soon.
Oh my God.
I should have never taken 4. I feel so freaking strange. I'm shaking. It's scaring me. Don't tell Daniel because he'll get pissed. I feel sick. I'm going to puke. Let's walk home together. I'm dressing for Jem. I feel a little shit. I have 3 left. I didn't get in trouble today. I didn't talk at all because I'm scared. I'm going to let you go. I love Daniel. You love Carver. Which was my boyfriend's last name at the time. This is straight up high school
drug shit. That is
this
high school drug shit.
Those 4 were White Crosses, 100%.
Wait, what is that?
Those are caffeine pills, basically, that you would get.
So she was just like that girl from Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
Just so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
My heart's pacing. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So those are the tales of my childhood.
You have the most scandalous out of all of us. Mine is just sad girl shit for the most part.
I also found a 3-day in-school suspension for smoking in there. So.
Nice.
And then I did also find a grade card with all A's and B's. So
there you go.
Yeah. So it's a wild ride. My childhood.
High school. High school for sure. Well, who should we fuck, marry, kill this week?
I feel like it needs to be
crushes.
I kind of feel like it should be high school crushes.
High school crushes. Oh my gosh, take myself back.
Gosh, I know, right?
I mean, Johnny Depp was a big one for me, but I feel like we've had a lot of Johnny Depp on this podcast recently, so I'm going to not go that direction.
Mine was Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Valid.
No, he was great.
You know who I really loved and would not now is Orlando Bloom. Really loved him.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Pirates of the Caribbean thing.
There you go. Yep.
Gotta stand by it.
Kurt Cobain, Orlando Bloom, and we are all over the map.
We are all over the map.
Okay.
Like, okay, you got Legolas / Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
You got pirate elf vibes over here.
Uh-huh.
And paddleboarding pantsless.
Yes.
On this side. Huge slong.
Basically, it was a huge slong. Is what we're trying to say.
Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is
you got Lou Diamond Phillips, who is still hot. Still good. Like
so
he
it's
aged
ridiculous.
really well. And you knew he
just
would
beautiful.
because he has that bone structure that like is never gonna fall.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like it's holding everything taut.
Yeah.
Right? So he's still good looking.
And he was he did La Bamba
and
and the cowboy show, which I can't think of for Young Guns.
Oh,
Young Guns and Young
I
Guns
never watched
2.
Young Guns.
Ooh.
But then you also have Kurt Cobain, who, you know, everybody went through a Kurt Cobain
Oh my gosh.
phase at one point or another.
100.
Like everybody
like,
did.
He's singing. I mean, you guys heard my list of qualifications.
Oh, yes.
So
You need to be amused.
I will say, I think you would have been better for him than
then some
Courtney,
of the other
so.
alternatives. I don't think he would have been better for me.
No.
So, yeah,
No.
definitely.
No.
I'll tell you what. I feel like I know what I'm going to do right off the
All
bat.
right, you go.
I'm going to marry Lou Diamond Phillips.
It's wise.
Yeah.
He's freaking
Aged well.
gorge.
Yeah.
Aged well. Seems like he has a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He works regularly. Seems like an upstanding guy.
He
And
pays his
also
taxes.
seems
That
like
man, like,
Yes.
got it under control.
silently strong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like if he needed to throw down, he would.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
you don't want to push him there.
No,
Like, he's
no.
that guy who's got his hands up, who's like, don't push me, don't push me, don't
I'm
push
telling
me.
you not to push me.
And then
then it's
when it
all over
happens,
for
it
you.
happens, right?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So I'm going to marry him.
It's tough, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to fuck Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the right answer.
come on with
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
mean, we all saw the paddleboard pic.
Yeah.
And he is a bad decision to date
Oh,
long term. Like,
terrible.
I mean,
for real.
But
He's-
however, what I will say is, he seems cheesy as fuck, like so cheesy. But him and Katy Perry
Love
have been
it,
together
actually.
for a while.
Yeah, they're
and
good.
he
Good
seems
baby.
like
Love
they
it.
seem kind of cute.
Yeah.
all right.
I have high hopes for them.
Me too.
I will have a one night stand with him. It won't be a whole night. We're just going to do it. And
Yeah.
I'm going to bounce.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I
Yeah.
don't feel like I would
Cheese
want
fest.
to
Basically.
stay any longer
Yes.
than that. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like, wow, I'm not in high school anymore because like the idea
Yeah.
of
Because your
a
high
Kurt-
school answer would have been
Kurt
totally
Cobain
different.
is just like
Kurt
not appealing to
Cobain,
me.
your
right now.
high
Kurt
school
Cobain would have
answer.
been my high school answer.
Yeah, your high school answer is you're marrying Kurt Cobain
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to save him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to save you.
I
Love
dated
you.
like this diary is full
Chock
of
full
Kurt
of Kurt-
Cobain. Like that was my
Yeah.
thing. I was like, oh, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna change his life. No, you're not.
No.
And he's going to ruin your life.
Yep.
Like that is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I love Kurt Cobain. Like even outside of Nirvana, like as a
Yeah.
person, like his interviews are great.
Yeah.
He's a feminist. Like
Yeah.
I think we would vibe
Yeah.
on a lot of levels. I really, really like Kurt Cobain, but I feel like I've grown up enough now to know that you can't save everybody.
Yeah.
Can I use
And-
him to sleep with Dave Grohl?
Oh.
No.
Hey. Huh?
There's that one night stand.
Ayo.
Use him to get closer to Dave
See,
Grohl.
we're gonna-
who
we're
is
gonna-
the marrying type.
We're gonna fuck, marry, friend. You're gonna be friends with Kurt
Yeah,
Cobain.
I
He's
like
gonna get
this.
you in the door.
I like
and then
this.
you're gonna fuck Dave
because
Grohl.
Dave Grohl is gonna get it.
Yes. I would marry Dave Grohl.
I would
actually.
marry him
Yes,
100%.
100%.
I feel like if Dave Grohl's listening, he is frightened by this.
He's like,
No,
but yeah, I mean, like I think as an adult, you realize like no matter how much somebody can be a really nice person and you can like them a lot, but you can't invite that kind of like chaos
right.
into your life or that kind of like baggage into your life. And
Right.
so like I'm going to do the exact same thing
Yep.
Yes.
as you, Christina. I'm going to marry Lou Diamond Phillips. Just feels like a good, solid choice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fuck Orlando Bloom, and my little, 14-year-old heart is just going to like be on
Soar.
cloud 9 until he opens his mouth afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, and they, because like he has a real cheesy quality that like is not,
It's going to ruin it.
it's going to ruin it. Yeah,
don't
just
love it.
don't talk. Maybe he can put on the Captain Jack Sparrow, and I can,
Oh, no.
and I can,
Oh,
I
no.
can kill two birds with one stone.
Oh no.
Like fuck
I
Orlando
don't-
Bloom and Captain
don't
Jack
love what you
Sparrow
just did.
at the same time.
Wow.
Don't love what you just did.
Wow.
I'm going to say it. I don't
Standing
love
by
it.
it.
Okay. Your hill to die on. Okay. I'm doing the same thing. I think
Sweet.
it's really the 43-year-old me. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Lou Diamond Phillips all the way.
Yeah, you do. And you don't, but for sure, 14-year-old me.
100%. There's no other answer than
Yeah.
you got to be with Kurt Cobain.
And I kind of feel like Kurt Cobain could lead to Chris Cornell for me. And
Ooh.
That's where it's at.
Yeah,
me.
he's going to open the door to all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to, if he took you on tour, you'd meet all kinds of people.
Shit, I meet Courtney Love, and I got to be honest with you, I had the biggest crush on Courtney Love.
Oh, I love Hole. Yeah, I
spicy
absolutely, I love Hole. And he maybe introduced me to like Kathleen Hanna. My life would be fucking made. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, can you imagine? Oh, I'd be so popular.
Oh my God. You can write it in your diary.
Yeah, I did. That's actually what's missing from this diary. It's all just like, oh my God, you guys, I totally met.
Basically part of Bikini Kill now.
Right.
By the way, guys, this is My Worst Date podcast. I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
Hey, and we do have a new patron. Hey. So we would like to welcome Kimberly Sullivan to the Patreon crew. Welcome. I'll be reaching out to you soon to send you your My Worst Date shirt. So look out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Cool.
And we're back. All right, kick us off, C.
Okay. So I got this one from Reddit. Prelude. I wake up one morning and go down to the kitchen, find a half banana on the kitchen counter, which is odd because it was a whole banana when I went to sleep.
Oh, I don't like that. Is he sleepwalking, or do you have a dude living in your
friend.
walls?
Realized that a rat somehow got into my house and ate half. I figure out how he got in behind the fridge and buy rat poison, steel wool, and spray foam.
I have to say, I kind of love how smart rats are. Like that rat came in there, peeled that banana, ate half of it with his little mouse hands, rat hands.
Dude, I have been in the longest fight with our building managers, and they finally have cleaned up the area where the dumpster is, which was literally like disgusting. And it bred like a fucking rat bonanza directly behind. And so like at night, we have lights that come on, like motion lights, and so we'll be watching TV, and the lights will come on, and I'll see them. I'll make eye contact with one, and I'm like looking at all of my animals just sitting around me, and I'm like,
useless,
guys.
Well, Villain's retired.
He is.
He's like,
motherfucker is so old.
Your
He's
dog
21.
your cat is like too old for that.
Like,
but
no.
you know, I have a really weird relationship with rats because like I don't want them around. Like wild rats, feral rats are terrifying because they're so smart and they're so resilient from like just thousands of years of living through plagues. You know what I mean?
No.
But like pet rats are actually like so smart and interesting
And
as
like
pets.
logically, I get like squirrels don't bother me whatsoever, and I get that squirrels just have a cuter tail. They're the same fucking thing.
Yeah, they are.
But I cannot logic myself out of like screaming at the top of my lungs when I see one on my back patio.
Well, it is wild when you come across one. Like if you've ever been in like Hollywood late at night and you walk by an alleyway and to see one when you're not expecting it just scurry across, 'cause they're big.
They're huge.
Anyway,
City
this
life.
rat's eating a banana. Okay.
I leave the poison out at night. The next morning it's gone, so I seal the rat hole with spray foam and steel wool. A few nights later, I'm woken up by a frantic clawing noise coming from inside the walls. Oh, no. I wrongly assumed the rat would take the poison outside to die quietly. Instead, he spent his last breath trying to claw through the drywall and avenge his death.
Oh, no.
After 15 minutes, the clawing finally stopped, and I spent the next few hours feeling guilty about a dying rat.
He called
instead
his
of
rat
sleeping.
friends 911. He's just like, come get this motherfucker.
Fast forward a few weeks. Met a girl while out at happy hour and really hit it off. She's gorgeous, funny, and into baseball. Not my favorite sport, but I know enough to fake it. So we set up a date for the next Wednesday, which happens to be game 3 or 4 of the World Series. We go out for dinner, and while finishing up, she says she'd really like to go somewhere and watch the game. I suggest my place, and she agrees.
Smooth.
We go back to my place, open the door, and are assaulted by the stench of death. Why does it stink? I took the trash out this morning. The fridge is relatively empty, and then it hits me. The rat that died in my walls 2 weeks earlier is getting his revenge.
It's ruining your fucking life.
While all of these thoughts are racing through my mind, I'm making the absolute dumbest small talk with her and not acknowledging the awful
You
stink
have to
permeating the room.
Get ahead of it. Get ahead of it. That's one thing you learn. It's just like, look, if you can smell it, she can smell it.
Yeah.
You need to address it before she does.
Yeah, you can't ignore it.
Oh no.
Don't know what I was thinking. Maybe if I pretended not to notice, she wouldn't notice it.
Oh no.
But there was no ignoring it, and she probably thought I live in an awful stench and don't know it or won't admit it.
Oh no.
After 20 minutes of stilted talk, she made an
20
excuse
minutes.
and departed, and I was left alone with the putrid corpse of a dead rat. I texted her, but never heard back.
Of course.
no.
Look, we would be calling each other if this was us and being like, I just got out of the worst smelling apartment. And he didn't even notice, which means he must just live like that.
Exactly.
That's
That's what
you
I
would
would have
think.
thought. Yeah. So a few weeks later, the giant houseflies filled with blood showed up in my place, but that had nothing to do with the date. The end. Like, bro, you should think about moving.
Or look, you sealed up that hole. Unseal it.
Yeah.
Find the rat.
Or call someone.
Get rid of it.
Oh my God.
People do these things.
Oh, horrible.
Exterminators. Hi.
Okay, mine is really short. I uprooted and moved across the country with this guy. Realized after the fact just how dependent he was on his parents for everything.
Oof.
They basically controlled his life because he didn't have a real job and lived off their money. He spent ridiculous amounts of cash on stupid stuff like his train modeling hobby.
Oh my God.
Nothing against if that's your thing.
Oh
It's just
my.
such a weird picture of like this grown man who doesn't have any of his own money but spends like a lot of money on model trains.
Yeah, which can get expensive. Listen,
Yeah.
I dated a guy when I was like 18 who was really into this game called Warhammer.
Yes.
So Warhammer, if you don't know, and God bless you for not, you have to buy these little armies, these little plastic figurines, hundreds of them. There's like 5 or 6 different armies. Like you can have an orc army.
Oh
you
my
can be an
God.
empire army.
Oh my God.
Maybe like
It's too
all
much.
these
It's already too much.
Elf, wood elf, dark elf army.
No.
So he had every single
thank you.
every single army with hundreds each. You have to glue them together, and they're just gray plastic pieces, and then you paint them. Painstakingly paint these figurines that are like this big. You get fake grass and you glue them on the bases.
Again, not to shame anybody's thing, because like we all have hobbies, right?
Yeah.
And I hope
I have
you
yarn.
have hobbies, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
hobbies are good
hobbies are
things.
good. They're good. It's just if this is the thing,
Yeah.
capital T in your life that you're not even paying for,
Right.
Oh man.
and like your parents and your girlfriend are footing the bill for your life, and you're still choosing to like shell out. I would shame anything at
Any
that
hobby.
point, right?
Yeah.
You know, like
You have to have priorities. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your bills have to be paid first before you buy
Get
a
a
new
new train.
caboose.
Jesus. Okay, so he spent new caboose. He spent ridiculous amounts of cash on his train modeling hobby, but his parents somehow blamed me for all of his failures instead of him, despite me landing freelance work, then a full-time job within 3 months of quitting my job and moving with no job prospects. So this bitch is on top of it.
Wow. Yeah.
He came home from a trip to see them 2 days before New Year's Eve and told me they gave him an ultimatum, me or their money. He chose the money.
Yeah.
I had to, of
Not
course he
surprised.
did. Yeah, of course he did. I had to live in the apartment for another 2 months, sleeping on the sofa bed while he moved another girl in.
Stop it. Oh my God.
He's like,
You know who I'm
Yes,
thinking of
I
right
do.
now?
I am shook hat.
we know someone who did something similar.
Basically.
Basically,
did
it's the same thing. Horrible.
Wow,
But
wow.
she says, ugh, my fuck buddy and I broke his couch bed though, so it wasn't all bad in the end.
There you go, girl.
Listen, is this story from someone?
I know. I'm like,
We
we
know.
need to know more
I need a first
details.
name. I
Yes.
need at least a first name.
Confirmation, please.
And by model trains, did you mean
oh my
I
God.
mean,
Wow.
okay.
Sometimes it hits close to home, you know?
Whew, okay. I was introduced to someone through a friend, and after chatting for a bit on the night, we exchanged numbers and he promised to message me. He seemed like a really genuine guy.
Don't they always?
Yeah.
And he was a few years older than some of the men I normally go for. However, I was willing to see where it went. He had a really good job, and we liked a lot of the same things. To cut a long story short, he seemed to me, at least, to be driven, and he knew what he wanted from life. He was, I guess, the sophisticated, slightly older male. And he
Sounds
seemed
good so far.
really keen to go out with me. Our first date went well. We met up quickly for a coffee and a light meal on my lunch break from work. He was really passionate about his job and what he did, so I was really fascinated by that. He asked if I'd like to go out again, and I said yes. We ended up meeting for a drink after work on Friday night. Again, it went well. He was really charming and funny, and any reservations I had about dating someone slightly older than my normal type went away as soon as he was very easygoing and put me at ease. A week or so later, he rings me and asks if I'd have dinner at his house the next evening. I said yes, and he texts me the address and says that he looks forward to seeing me. Night started out well. The conversation was good. He was funny and everything felt natural. I didn't notice it at the time, but he was drinking a lot. It may have been nerves that made him drink more, but I sort of nursed my glass of wine while we chatted and had nibbles, while he downed 2 or 3 beers in the space of half an hour.
Ooh, that's a lot. I mean, because generally I'm like, okay, you don't know somebody's alcohol tolerance. Like,
Half
it
an
could
hour.
be fine, but 3 beers in half an hour is a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It only increased as the night wore on, and I had maybe 3 glasses of red total, while he polished off a bottle of wine himself, and then all the extra beer on the side.
Ooh.
His behavior starts to change slightly, I guess from the alcohol he had consumed. He became loud and quite obnoxious, talking over me or starting on a different subject while I was talking, clearly not taking an interest into anything I said. About halfway through dinner, he announces, and I quote, "I need to piss. Hold on." Oh, the bathroom was like right there, not that far from the dining room. But no, he opened the sliding door, walked a few steps onto the balcony, unzipped his pants, and started going. He was standing not that far away from me, and he just let it go and peed off the second floor.
Does he have a downstairs neighbor?
Oh, no.
Let's hope not.
Oh, my God.
He has to, because he's on the second floor.
Well, maybe it's a lobby. Maybe there's like
I don't
not someone's balcony right beneath you, because that's what I'm picturing. Imagine you're just sitting in your apartment, your downstairs apartment, watching House, whatever, and then like
totally
you just see a stream,
dribble.
one stream. You're like, is it raining? No, it's not raining. It's just one
That's weird.
powerful yellow stream going into your balcony
This happened to my neighbor.
or your patio.
No.
Mhm. The neighbor across from me, they got into a war. They were like, you know how across
Yes.
the pool there are those 2 apartments on top of each other?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the bottom one would keep like banging on the ceiling because the top ones were getting too loud. So they kept like peeing off their balcony onto the guy's patio. Yeah, it like started this whole war.
Ew.
It was like
What's wrong with
pee
you?
war.
Who raised you? Gross.
Well, if it's a P war, the people on top definitely have the advantage. What are the people on the bottom supposed to do? Just peeing into a bucket,
Pee into
and
a balloon,
sloshing
throw it up
over.
You hit the nail on the head.
No.
my dear.
No, that did
Shut
not
your
happen.
mouth.
Yes, stop it.
Yes.
No.
Yes. In a bucket.
No.
Yes. Along with dog feces.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You
It turned
no.
into a whole war of pee and poop. Stop!
How old are these people?
Oh, like in their 40s and 50s.
No.
I swear to God. Grown adults
No.
throwing piss and poop.
I have no words. I am shook.
How has this never been brought up before?
Right?
I don't know. We've never talked about peeing on someone's like
Balcony.
patio before, and so
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh God. Well.
Okay.
He even looked behind him and gave me a goofy, half-drunk smile while he did it. And I was like, kind of disgusted, and I didn't know where to look or what to do.
Just make hardcore eye contact.
He came back in all smug and proud of himself, sat right back down and finished his meal, didn't wash his hands or anything.
Oh.
Disgusting. I excused myself and went into the bathroom. As soon as we had finished eating, I quickly called my sister and asked if she would ring me in a bit for some fake event so I could
911.
make an excuse to leave. I then called a taxi so that I could be picked up in half an hour time, as my car was at the mechanics that weekend. I felt bad for faking an event, but he was really starting to creep me out and make me feel uncomfortable, and I didn't know what else to do. Continuing on with his charm offensive the next night, he called me and said that he hoped to, quote, breed me.
Oh, no. Wow.
Oh my God,
Strong.
that's so aggressive.
And that he, quote, wanted to, quote, rut with me.
What does that mean?
Rut? That's what like
animals
pigs do. Yeah.
Like, I was thinking deer, but
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
any
Animals. Yeah.
Animal
Yeah.
fucking?
yeah.
Yeah. Rutting.
Oh,
I told him how uncomfortable I had been at this house and when he peed off the balcony, and that hearing that made me want to gag.
this
I blocked
sounds like some witch cursed an animal to live in a human man's body, and he like doesn't know how to behave.
human. You can't
Yeah,
human.
like
I want to see this movie starring Tom Hanks.
right.
Immediately.
Oh, no.
gross.
Somebody has pitched that in a room for sure.
I blocked him and asked my friend why the fuck she thought we would be good match, but the friend was unaware of this side of him.
That's the problem with alcohol, man. If you're, I mean, a couple, whatever, but like if you're the type of person that just like keeps going,
Pees
like,
off a balcony.
Yeah, please drink responsibly.
I don't even know.
Too, I mean, like, you could be arrested for a sex crime, basically. For
Yeah, you got your
exposing
dick
yourself.
out.
You got your dick out on your fucking balcony. Oh, God, what a garbage.
And plus, you might be starting a pee poop war.
Or
with
you
your-
don't know what you're getting
You
involved
don't know
in.
what you're getting involved in. Your downstairs neighbors waiting for you. They got your number.
A bucket of poop.
Collecting dog turds with your name on it,
So
sir.
gross. And you know the person who owns the building is just like, come on, you guys.
Get the fuck out of here.
So bad.
Oh,
All right. Let me pull up my Tainted Love. I'm gonna preface this by saying that I watched something on HBO this week that inspired it.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have watched it, but it's called Murder at White House Farm.
oh.
I know this story. I
Yes.
haven't watched it, but I know this story.
It's great.
Oh, it's-
first and foremost. So I
I haven't
dug
watched it yet, yeah.
in deeper, and I got a lot of my information from Murderpedia. But
When I was on my YouTube murder show spree, I got really deep into British
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like murder shows because like they're different than American murder
Yeah,
shows.
they have
And,
better accent.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And this one was one that came up a lot. It's excellent.
Yes,
I mean,
this is one of the most sensational crimes in British history. It's still hotly debated
Okay.
to this day. I'm going to give a trigger warning for child death, mental health, and animal death.
Oof.
So
Don't love this.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to leave.
But there's there's
bye.
a lot of stuff in here that I'm like, I really wanted to lay out the case, and I want
yeah.
to see where you guys lay with this.
Okay.
So in the early hours of August 7th, 1985, officers arrived at White House Farm in rural Essex after receiving a frantic call about a possible domestic incident. The man who made the call, 24-year-old Jeremy Bamber, was waiting outside. He claimed he had received a phone call from his father, Neville, saying that his younger sister, Sheila, was going berserk with a gun. Sheila, a former model, had suffered mental problems and schizophrenia, so it was a statement that Jeremy took seriously. Local police waited for backup as there was a firearm involved, which, like, local police in England.
yeah,
don't-
they're like,
yeah,
"Oh,
they're
I don't
like,
know.
They got a gun. I don't have a gun. So they had to wait for a ton more people. So they didn't actually enter the house until around 7 a.m. When they finally entered the house, a gruesome scene unfolded before them. The first body discovered was that of Neville downstairs. They found Sheila's 6-year-old twins deceased in their beds. They found Sheila's mother dead beside her bed, and on the other side was Sheila, deceased with a shotgun across her body and a Bible open beside her. The only thing left alive was June, Sheila's mother, her beloved dog, crying under the bed.
Oh.
Jeremy was absolutely crushed to learn of his family's demise, and police quickly determined it to be a murder-suicide. Because of his sister's fame and the severity of the crime, it was quickly picked up by the press and the story was everywhere. Sheila, or Bambi, as she was known because her name was Sheila Bamber, so they called her Bambi.
Okay.
Because she had really long legs, was on every newspaper as a killer. Jeremy sobbed as his dazed girlfriend, Julie Mugford, arrived to comfort him. Her ex-husband and father of the twins was told later that day and could scarcely believe it. He told investigators that Sheila was sick but not violent. He would never believe that she would hurt their children. Sheila's cousin Anne was also in disbelief, as she described Sheila as a gentle person. But it was also the 80s, and if you had any mental health issues, it seems people, and especially police, could easily believe you are a killer.
Yeah.
The community was stunned. Neville and June in particular were devoutly religious and upstanding pillars. They were seen as kind, generous, and giving. Neville and June had adopted both Jeremy and Sheila, and they had been paying for her flat in London. They were also paying for a cottage for Jeremy not far from White House Farm, and he was helping run their caravan park for them. So, police are quick to wrap up the scene. They feel it's open and shut. However, there are a few questions the scene presented right off the bat, just from careful eye observation. Number 1, the shotgun could hold 10 rounds. All told, 25 rounds were shot. Whoever did it would have had to reload the gun at least twice.
Wow.
Neville was also
And a shotgun.
A shotgun.
Like 25 shotgun blasts.
Yes.
Is very intense.
Yes. Number 2, Neville was also severely beaten. He was a large man, well over 6 foot, and Sheila was a thin, small woman. Number 3, why didn't anyone hear the shots? 25 shotgun blasts.
Yeah.
Number 4, the groupings of the shots showed someone with proficiency and skill at shooting. No one but Jeremy could recall if Sheila had ever even handled a gun.
Well, and I've shot a shotgun. If you're a small person, yeah. I mean, even if you have that kickback is really intense. So, like, even if you have proficiency, you would have to be rooted in such a way in order to get shots off. Like, because the kickback is going to throw the shot goes.
When you see the picture, she's tiny. She's she's not short, but she's tiny.
Right. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, like, something to keep in mind.
Take a look around. These are things that are rather strange. Number 5, and this is the biggest one for me personally, Sheila had 2 gunshot wounds to her head.
Oh, that's weird.
From a shotgun?
Yeah.
That seems hard to do.
Hard to do.
Yeah. Right? I'm like, right off the bat,
impossible.
You want to go ahead and check that out. However, the house was completely locked from the outside, so police felt sure it had to have been Sheila, despite initial inconsistencies and questions.
Had to be.
They're like, wrap it up.
Yep.
We're done here.
They quickly took the bodies from the scene to the coroner's, so cleared it out, and let the press know it was a murder-suicide before the inquest had even started.
Wow.
Ooh.
And when asked to officially identify the bodies, Jeremy claimed he would not be able to, so his girlfriend, Julie, volunteered to spare the family the pain. Once properly identified, Jeremy arranged for Neville, June, and Sheila to be cremated, despite the fact that Neville and June were devoutly religious and wanted a burial. The twins' father asked Jeremy if Sheila could be buried with the boys, to which Jeremy responded he could do whatever he liked with her ashes. Meanwhile, the police asked Jeremy what he wanted done with the crime scene. He asked them to burn everything with blood on it, which they freaking did.
What?
Wow.
What?
So they cleaned up the crime scene for him. They dug a big pit on the farm, threw in all of the bloody evidence, all of it, and burned it.
Huh.
This is a dream for somebody who's trying to get away with murder. Like, they're just like, I just asked them to do it and they did it.
Yeah.
Like,
so they cleaned it up. They had to smash a door to like get inside to when the shit happened. So they're like, we replaced the door for you.
Jesus.
Here's the new keys.
Full service.
Yeah. So
Wow,
they
changed the
cleaned it
locks.
up, changed the locks, and gave the keys to his cousin Anne, who made a copy to give to Jeremy. And the funeral was a circus where cameras flashed everywhere to capture the family in their grief. Pictures of Jeremy show him leaning on his girlfriend for support, his face twisted in sadness. However, afterwards, while having people over to the house, he was in high spirits, drinking, laughing, and making smutty jokes. His cousin Anne, who he ran the caravan park with, was suspicious and disapproving of his behavior. She had been particularly close with Neville in June and started to worry when she overheard him making remarks about selling things. So her and her husband headed over to the farmhouse to collect important family heirlooms for safekeeping when they made two very important discoveries. Number one, they found a silencer with blood on the end in a gun cabinet. Number two, they found that a kitchen window had a broken latch that would appear like it was unlocked. When apparently it wasn't. So
I like that she figured this out and the cops were like, I don't know, looks locked to me. Bye.
Yeah. So they called the cops or whatever. Well, first they go and the head investigator that was in charge of the investigation at this point, his name was the DC Taff is what they called him, is a nickname, threw her out of the office. Was like, are you questioning me? Like,
wow.
This is like,
this
get
was
the fuck
70s,
out. 80s. Yeah. And so finally they got a hold of another officer who came and took the evidence, the silencer, 3 days later. But like,
damn,
they had touched it. Like, you know what I mean? I know DNA wasn't a thing then, but fingerprints were, and there was blood inside that could have been tested. So, other inconsistencies were also coming to light that were forcing their hand, though, into keeping the case open. Neville had been shot in the mouth like 4 times.
Wow.
Nowhere in Jeremy's statement does he mention if his father's voice sounded weird when he called him that night. If you've been shot in the mouth 4 times
with a shotgun, does your mouth work?
No.
Yes.
At that point,
no.
Right?
Also, the silencer definitely answers the questions about no one hearing the shots, but with it on the shotgun and Sheila's wounds under her chin,
shotgun's
there's
too long.
No way
There's
she
no
could
way.
have reached the trigger on the gun.
And also the gun wasn't found with the thing on it. So how did
So
they take
somebody
it off?
took the silencer.
Exactly.
Clearly.
It was found in the gun cabinet downstairs. So they're saying like, oh, she must have been performing a ritual and she must have like washed herself and put it in there and then took the gun upstairs and delivered the second shot.
That's some satanic panic bullshit, first of all. And like, again, how many times have we said like the simplest explanation
if
is
this was in a movie, we would be suspending disbelief so hard right
Yeah.
now. Like okay. Sure.
Yeah. Is this The Conjuring? What's happening? This
exactly.
doesn't make sense.
Although his behavior was now being carefully watched, Jeremy continued to act strangely. He started to empty out the farmhouse and Sheila's flat, selling anything and everything he could. He approached tabloids to try and sell naked pictures of his sister for $100,000.
Wow.
I've got 3 brothers. That would never fucking happen in any
Never.
kind
Isn't it
of
the weirdest thing.
It's so weird.
You're trying to sell naked pictures of your
dead sister.
Yeah.
Who
Could you
you're
imagine
saying
Patrick?
killed your family and your nephews.
Yeah. That's
No.
yeah.
It's and it's just plain stupid. Like it's always amazing to me. It really highlights that these people have no concept of what normal people are like,
Right.
or like what
Or
normal people
empathy
would
feels
do.
like. Yeah.
Because even if they were terrible enough to commit this crime and do all this stuff, like they can't figure out that like a normal person wouldn't sell their
do that.
sister's pictures
To
and
the
it's going
tabloids.
to make you look
If
guilty.
it's so icky that even the tabloids are like, nah.
Yeah,
thanks.
the Daily Mail's like,
No, yeah, even the tabloids thought that was scuzzy. And
Yeah.
they ran like headlines being like, brother
He
tried
tries
to
to
sell.
sell.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were like, this is scuzzy.
Yeah.
And this is around the time too that like Jeremy and Julie start having like, they always had a volatile relationship in the past. Julie was only 19 and, Jeremy was 24. They were on again, off again. And they have been on again for like like a couple of months, not long.
It
but
sounds like true love.
yeah.
Once again, y'all,
Julie-
you cannot share this kind of secret with your 19-year-old girlfriend.
Nope.
Okay? 19-year-olds are volatile.
No,
okay?
and what's worse is that like everyone when they described the relationship was like she was way more into him than he was into her. Like she loved Big L with the lights, everything.
I want to read her diary.
Yeah, no, really. Now this is the worst part about his behavior, that like then his family was like starting to turn on him because he called a vet and made that vet put his mother's healthy young dog down.
No, see, now that's too far.
Again, it's just like you have no concept of like this is going to look weird or suspicious to people. Like this is
I'm
weird.
Like, if a family member died, like I thought to myself, because I'm like watching this and I'm reading it and I'm like, I would want the animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it'd be like,
And-
you know,
and
my
yeah.
mom loved this so much. My mom loved this dog, and like this is a way I can
I
keep my
agree.
mom with me a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And some people maybe don't feel that way. Like people grieve in different ways, and maybe to some people this would be a reminder, right?
Sure.
And like and that's painful to you. But you would give the dog
That's right.
to another family
You wouldn't
member,
put it down.
right?
That's
It's very it's very bizarre the way that these people's minds work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stinks. I don't like this.
No.
And the final straw appears to be him flirting, cavorting, and contacting other women. And Julie went into the police station
You idiot.
shortly
Like,
afterwards.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Like, oh, okay. He's just not very smart.
No.
She claims that Jeremy hated his adoptive parents. He would have been cut off from the will if he hadn't agreed to help at the farm, and he resented June preaching at him constantly. He resented Sheila getting to have a flat in London and thought because she was sick, she got to keep getting more and more money and attention from their parents. He had told Julie, his girlfriend, a month before the murders, that he wanted to burn the house down with Neville and June in it, but thought firefighters would get there before the fire killed them.
Damn.
She claims she thought he was joking, but then he called her the night of the murders and told her, "Tonight's the night, and it's now or never." And when he called her in the middle of the night and told her something was wrong at the farmhouse, she rushed to his side. He told her later that day that he had hired a friend for £2,000 to kill his whole family and had told him about the special window latch. So she's telling the cops that, who they're like, oh, okay, this is making sense. She was absolutely hysterical as she told them she knew the whole time he had done it, but she was in love with him and she still loved him. Police went to finally
Sounds
pick up
19.
Jeremy and his friend. However, the friend had an airtight alibi, and Jeremy seemed nonchalant about the questioning. He said that Julie was saying these lies now because they broke up and she was jealous. And police were stumped. The only physical evidence they really had at this point was the silencer, which had been somewhat
Because
contaminated.
they burned everything
burned
else.
The rest.
Jesus.
Everything else had been burned, but enough circumstantial evidence was there and they decided to charge him with the murders, meaning their trial would come down to Julie's testimony. So everything that happened, he seemed like he had like a perfectly reasonable answer to. Like, Julie's lying because she's jealous and I broke up with her. And like all of these different things he felt like he could explain away. What it came down to in the trial was like, did the jury believe that Neville made that phone call? Because if Neville had called Jeremy, then he had to have been home. And apparently at the time, they weren't able to really pull phone records to prove that or not.
Weird.
It's very strange. So it came down to that, plus Julie's testimony, plus the silencer. And they, on October 18th, 1985, he was sentenced to 5 life sentences. And in fact, it's been upgraded to a whole life tariff, which is super rare in England. Like, he will not get out of prison.
Is he still alive? He is, isn't he?
He is. He is alive and appealing. There's innocence projects, lots of lots of people working with him saying, like, there's no way to convict him. the scene was so contaminated and so like police messed it up so badly.
Right.
Well, I hate to say this because I believe he's guilty. Like, and granted,
but I agree.
Everything that I've watched has been slanted in that direction. So maybe that's why I believe he's guilty so hard.
Right.
But at the same time, they have a point in that, like, there's a system that's supposed to work a certain way and you fucked it up. So, like, if he gets let out, it's because you didn't do your job.
That's
the
right.
way that you should have done your job. You fucked this up.
Yeah.
Like, so
because
I don't know.
The issue too is that a lot of people were like coming at Julie like, how could you have known like that somebody you're dating murdered 5 people, 2 of them being tiny baby boys for a month? Like, you went and saw the bodies. She had to identify him. And she had said later that she had to do it because something just felt like not real. And the story that she told about him hiring the friend, a lot of people think he had told her that just in case, like, she ever went to the police. The friend wasn't involved at all. He had an airtight alibi. So he could be like, she's making all this shit up because she's mad at me that I broke up with her.
Yeah.
I understand why people would say that. And, like, there is a big part that's like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, how could you stay with someone who did something like that? But I also think that maybe, like, some people's brains can't wrap around
That's right.
the, like, enormity of the situation. And while you're trying to figure out, like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Well,
like,
also, if he did that to those 5 people, what makes you think that you're safe?
You're
at
definitely
all?
not safe.
You know what I mean?
oh
so
yeah,
I can kind of get that.
Like,
and be
his parents and his sister and his nephews are
Right.
disposable.
Yeah.
You, who he's been dating for what, all of 6 months? Like, it's
On and off.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
While texting other girls, not texting because it's the 80s, but you know what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because that was the stuff like she had to deal with the most is like, how could you for a month? Like, how could you have sat on this secret? And she got so much crap for it. And I'm like, I personally like would have been terrified that I'd be killed as well. Like, if someone's capable of doing that. But yeah, so the case continues to drag on to this day. Multiple appeals by him have been overturned and stuff. So he's still in jail. He's still in the whole life. But there are a lot of people that are fighting for his innocence and his freedom to this day.
Interesting.
So that is the story of the murder at White House Farms.
Ooh. I do need to watch the HBO show because I watched the trailer for it and it's so beautifully done.
Good.
Clearly.
It is like British procedural at its finest. Oh.
So it's not a documentary. It's a
No, it's a dramatized version of it. But when I went through and read the Murderpedia and everything like that, it's like
bonkers.
Accurate. Yeah, accurate. It's really, really worth watching. So, yeah, that'll go into more detail. So if you want to learn more about what you think happened, if it was Jeremy or Sheila, I think the most damning evidence for me, honestly, is that
Silencer.
And 2 shots to the fucking head.
It's impossible. That's
I
impossible.
mean, a lot of it too, because I'm just like 4 shots to the mouth.
Yeah.
To the face
Yeah.
for the dad too. I'm like, he's not placing a phone
And
call.
they're in
Like,
such small groupings and stuff. And it's like somebody had to have been.
right, not impossible, but also not likely. And
Correct.
again, it's just like the simplest explanation, typically. Like, you think that really the simplest explanation for you is that Sheila was part of some weird occult thing where she's like,
right.
ritual. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zebras and horses. Am I right?
Alrighty. Well, what else are you watching besides that, Christina?
I think I told you guys I started watching the Reagans
Yes.
on Showtime,
Oy.
which is
Oy vey.
it was fascinating so far. The best part is seeing baby Dr. Fauci trying to deal with yet another epidemic and incompetent
He's like,
government.
hey, maybe we should pay attention to this very serious issue.
I'm like, this poor man has been
His whole life.
life. But then I also am watching this show on Netflix called Haunted. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh wait, is this like it's like a docuseries kind of?
Yes.
I started it. I did start it.
No,
Yes.
wait, I need to know.
So it's like
Ghosts.
half-hour episodes where people are telling their personal like paranormal experiences. Mm-hmm. And it's like
I'm always
dramatized.
half cynical and half like
Me too.
like the whole
Yeah.
time I'm like,
Yeah.
this is bullshit, but also
Also,
what if it's not?
what if it's not? But yeah, it's like ghosts, aliens.
Oh, no.
There's a cult one. There's devil, possession,
Oh, wow.
old people.
What?
Frightening. Frightening.
Again,
Old people. Am I right?
Old people, young people, scary crawling people.
Oh, the
No.
crawling people.
No, I hate the crawling people.
There's one that really,
we usually call them babies, but oof.
the one
my
that
house.
scared me the most was this guy was telling about being a kid moving into this house, and he's like, I kept seeing this guy with a rope around his neck, so he used to call him the hangman.
I
And was
saw
like,
that one.
No, thank you.
No.
I don't like
Imagine
that.
if your kid just walked
No.
up
No.
to you, tugged on the bottom of your dress.
Nope.
Mommy,
No.
I
Not
see the
enough
hangman.
people move or like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I'm out.
sorry.
I'm out.
Like,
Yeah.
You know what, though? I have to say, in the middle of a move right now, I'm like, moving is expensive. Okay.
Yeah, but,
and
goodbye.
easier said than done, just to pick up and be like, bye.
I will say I would rather live on the street than in a house with the hangman. I'm just saying. Ghosts.
Well, speaking of that, I watched the Netflix movie. It has Amanda Seyfried. Seyfried? How do you say her?
Seyfried. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Her. It has her in it. It's called Things Heard and Seen.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I've seen previews for it. Was it good?
Okay.
Right? I enjoyed it in that, like, I feel like anytime I talk about like a horror movie or a suspense movie or a thriller or anything like that, it's with a grain of salt because I crave them so much and we get so few of them that I
Right.
feel like I rate them on a different scale than I would rate something else because I'm like,
Makes
please,
sense.
please, sir,
Have some more.
may I please have a scary movie?
That reminds me.
Oh no.
Finish.
Okay.
And I will. I was just triggered by what you just said.
Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it, but it's not really scary. Now, it did put me in a weird frame of mind because it's like a haunted house situation. And so I will say, like, when I turned it off, because Anthony, of course, fell asleep halfway through and left me to watch the whole
course.
movie alone. And so when I turned it off and my house was quiet, there was that moment of like, whew, you know, which I don't get very often. So there was that, but I was disappointed in the ending. So watch it if you like, you know, kind of suspensey, ghosty type movies and
Yeah.
let me know what you think. But I was let down by the ending. I feel like it would have been so much better if the ending had gone a different direction. But anyway.
No, you said, please, sir, may I have some more? And it
Yep.
reminded me that I watched the new adaptation of David Copperfield.
What?
that's
When?
on
What?
HBO.
What is that?
What?
It's a reimagining of
What's it
David
called? Is it called David
It's called like
Copperfield?
the personal history of David Copperfield.
Okay.
So I watched it.
Good. Please
No.
tell me
I
it's good.
cannot tell.
No.
Yeah, I was about to say I
No.
couldn't tell if it was good
No.
or terrible.
Oh my God.
No.
A, long AF. B, like it's so bad. It is so bad. It might have
Is
been
anyone
like the
in it?
worst thing. There's so many people in it. Tilda Swinton's in it.
Really?
Hugh
Grant?
Lori.
Lori?
is in it. The main guy is somebody. There's so many people in it, and it is bad.
How could you do that
It
to
is
Dickens?
bad. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
seriously.
It's terrible. So
Wow.
Anyway.
And that's some
Wow.
good names.
I know, and I was just like, I know you like Dickens
love,
and stuff too,
yeah.
and I just want to save you from it.
Okay.
Don't
No, because
don't
that's
do
something, if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, I got to watch
You're like,
this.
I'm settling in
And-
for the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would know within the first 3 minutes of the movie
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And you'd be like,
I kind of want to just watch the
I
first
know.
3 minutes just to be
Just to
like,
be like,
what the fuck?
oh, girl, it's you will text me and you'll be like,
Yep.
thank you for saving
Thank you.
me. Thank you.
Got it.
What are you watching?
So, I watched last night the new Zack Snyder zombie movie, which Christina, I know you watched as well.
Yeah.
What's it called? Do you know?
Army of the Dead.
Army
Okay.
of the Dead.
Opening sets it up like
yeah.
it's going to be badass and funny and awesome.
Yeah. So you actually, when we briefly talked about this earlier, described it very well by saying it's like Ocean's 11 meets like a zombie flick. And that's exactly what I went into it with as well. And it does, the opening sequences are amazing. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
And then I don't know exactly when it goes off the rails.
Yeah.
But it definitely does.
It gets long.
Yeah.
It drags.
It's literally an hour longer than it needs
There's
to
a lot
be.
of emotive like conversations with the main dude. What's his name again?
Batista.
Oh, yeah.
That
John
just
Batista,
don't land.
It's
Poor
just
guy.
Know who you're casting. I mean, that's the thing. He doesn't do long emotive scenes. Okay.
I think that everything about this film would have been better had they just edited out the superfluous relationship scenarios. Like, honestly, that movie would have been great. And you could have cut an hour of just the stupid storytelling. Like,
I feel like
you should
Zombie
feel for
Ocean's
them.
11, you have me.
You have me.
It's going to be so fun, but then
I
it
feel
was
like
not.
that's the downfall of a lot of these like modern like action movies or anything, because I felt the same way when I watched Godzilla versus Kong, where I was like, there's an entire plot line with Millie Bobby Brown or whatever her
Doesn't
name
need
is
to be there.
that did not need to be in this movie. Like, there's always there's too much going on always.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you need a
Right.
good
It's
editor
action.
to just
you don't
cut
need all that extra shit.
one plot line out of this movie.
Yeah.
And then it would be infinitely better.
Oh, that
You
part
know?
infuriated me.
Every time they went back, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go brush my teeth. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. That's kind of, there was parts in the last, not the last season, but maybe the season before the last of like Game of Thrones that felt like that for me.
Oh, amen.
Like I couldn't give two shits less about the youngest brother or whatever, the Bran, like any Bran scenes. I was like,
Well, and
I'll be right back.
It went nowhere. Not that
No
this,
fucking
we don't
where.
have enough time to talk about all the
No.
things that were wrong with the last season of Game of Thrones, but like
that's a whole nother podcast.
we could have a whole podcast just bringing on people to talk about the things that they
We
hated.
could just have a whole podcast talking about how much we hate Bran. I know I could.
I could have tolerated Bran if it went literally
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't though. But anyway.
No. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, that's it also hard, don't recommend. I mean, unless you just have 2 hours to be disappointed at the end.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you have stuff that we should watch, if you have stories, be they long or short, because you're out there dating again, because hey, all those dating apps will let you know if they're vaccinated or not.
Yeah,
supposedly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com, and we love you so much. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.